Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So let's wait for another 2 minutes and then we will start. Hello everyone, good morning again. So I think let's get started. So do you guys have any questions on our previous classes?
No, sir.
Okay. So I think I have shared a notebook. Maybe I guess you guys have got that.
Yes, sir.
So did you guys started working on that? Like practicing those things? Okay. So in your free time, so you can just take a look of those notebook and you can start exploring the things. Okay. So yes, we'll continue that session. So let me share my screen. So let me know once my screen is visible. So can you guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So here, so in our previous classes, we started with a loops, right? So as you already aware of, like two kinds of loops are available, like for loop and the while loop. So I've already shown some small examples of like how we can use the for loops for our operations of that iterable values, right? So in the same way, we have multiple examples over here, like how we can tackle these problems. See, let's see here, X-res, okay, 3, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, this is the things. So if I want to increment these values by 2, how we can do that? So let's see. So we need to take the each and every values. We need to access each and every values with this index position, and we should add with that whatever the incremented values, right? In the same way, we should call upon all the values, whatever you have on the list. Then this is like a manual approach in the Python, right? So if this numbers gets changed, if this numbers gets increased, then what you should do? You should increment the values. In the list, again, you should add some more index position like X position of 5 plus 2. So in this way, you have to increase it, right? So it is not a dynamic. If your inputs get changed, again, you should change your code as well. So in that case, you guys can use the for loop as a dynamic approach, right? Whatever the inputs are given by the users. So all the values going in a inside into that for loop in a sequential order, and each and every values is gets appended. Okay, so each and every values are incremented or multiplied by 2 and appended into that empty list. So in this way, you can do the operations for each and every values inside a list. Right? See here, so multiplications of 2 here I'm doing. Right? What is the expected result for this? 3 into 2, 6, 6, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That is actually the expected results, right? So let's see. So I can call this one as a sequence into this loop. See, 6, 6, 8, 10, 12, 7, 12, 14. This is how this for loops works. So you can use it for like some more complex logics as well. So that you guys should know the um, what I can say, the working of for loops, how it is working. So based on that knowledge, you guys can use that for loop for anywhere and whatever the purpose it is. So you can see I was just created for like multiplying the values as well. Okay. Yeah. So I think these are the examples for loop. So it is not only for the numerical values. If you have any strings, B, H, L, K, so these kinds of things. If you really wants to append these values into any of the list, so that also you can iterate. You guys can iterate those values as well. Okay. So if you really wants to concatenate this B with any values, that also you can do that concatenation operation. Anyhow, we can do the concatenation for string type, right? So that you can do that by using a join or plus operator, anything. So by any way, you guys can do that. Instead of iterating the each and every values inside of your sequence by index position, you guys can iterate through for loop. And so with this for loop, I'm going to introduce another function, that is range function. So this range function, so you can just call this range function. What is there inside of this? See, so range, so it will accept some two arguments. What are those two arguments? Starting point, stopping point, and stepping towards. Okay, so it will returns a range object. This will returns the range objects. Okay, so here you guys can see, I'll just provide starting position is 0, ending position is 10. Okay, stepping, I'm going to give 1. Let me execute this line of code. Here you can see, so range object is written as 0 to 10. It means this is going to print the values from 0 to 10 by stepping the values be 1. Like it means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in this way. So if I change this 1 and 0 is default values. Okay. So if you really wants to change the starting point and stepping point, then you can add it. But this is the end point you should provide. What is the end point? This is the required argument. You guys needs to provide that. Okay. Here I am providing a starting position as 2. Okay. Step equals to 2 I am going to give. Then what happened? It is going to take a 2-step forward values. First it is going to take 2, then 4, then 6, then 8 in this way. Okay, till it going to reaches the 10 values. So let's see in the for loop whether it is going to print the correct values or not. In the for loop, for I in the ranges values started from 2 to 10. So I'm going to print that values. See, 2, 4, 6, 8. So by using this range function as well, you can print your sequences. Okay. Like this, we have multiple methods to print the sequence of numbers, right? So it is actually a good example, like in the Python, like if anyone tells that to write a print only the even values, right? So what is the meaning of even values? What are even values? The values are completely divisible by 2, right? See, if like instead of applying that complex logic, like whether those values are divisible by 2 or not, so I can simply write the step out values. See, 2, 4, 6, 8. So if I increase this with 20, so I can get the even values till the range of 20. Only even values I am getting. So like this, you have to think and you have to provide the solution for that. And okay, so any questions so far on the for loop? I think you guys have already have this notebook in your hand. So you guys can practice with multiple examples which I provided here. And then another loop is a while loop. So this is completely different than for loop. So in the for loop, in Python, a while loop is used to execute a block of statement repeatedly until a given condition is going to satisfied. And when the condition become false, the line immediately jump to after the loop in the program executed. Okay. So in the while loop, you should provide the stopping condition. If you are not provided the condition, that loops is continuously, repetitively, it is executing. Okay. So if you are not provided any condition, imagine, so that code will keep on executing in your notebook or in your environment. So be sure that while using in a while loop, you should provide a like a stopping condition as well, like on which slot, on which time, on which stage it is going to stop. It should stop. That you have to provide compulsorily. Okay. So here is the syntax. This is a keyword. Again, while is a keyword from Python, and expression. Expression means your condition or whatever it is, and the statements. Whatever the statements you guys are going to provide, that you need to provide it. Okay. For example, here you can see I is equal to 1. Starting position, I'm just giving initial. Here what I'm doing, while I is less than 10, then it is going to print a I value. Then it means when I is greater, is equals to 10 or greater than 10, then what it is going to do, it is just going to stop the execution and it is coming out of the loop, right? This is what the logic is. So I'll just printing it over here. I is equals to 1 while I is less than 10, print I. So I'm just executing this line of code. Okay. See, keep on executing that one infinite times. Why? Because I've just provided the condition actually. This is never going to true. This is never going to true, right? I'm just going to stop the execution. See how dangerous it is. That's in my system has got struck. Okay. So just stop it. I'm just interrupting the kernel. Oh, come on, stop. Don't do that execution. It's got stuck. See how dangerous it is. If I'm not provided that condition, so it is keep on executing. Be patient. Still again, it's opening again. Okay. Where we left. Yeah. Here we left that condition. See that complete execution went wrong. So if I not provided the but like a stopping condition and all. So for that, so here I'm very carefully, I'm just designing the code while I is less than 10, print I. Okay, print I. After that, so if I check whether each and every time only I is equals to 1 is going inside into this loop and printing that. So this is never going to true, right? So in that case, what I'm doing is I will, and after printing that I'm just going to increase that with 1. Okay, I'm just going to increase that with a 1. Then what happened? I is equals to 1 coming inside of it started the loop. I is less than 10. Your condition is going to true and printing that. Then again, it is again going to here. It is I is again incremented within a 1. Then I plus 1. Sorry, 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Then 2 is less than 10. Yes, condition is true. Printing that. Then again incremented with 1. That is becoming 3. So it keep on increasing that. When it sees that 10 is less than 10, no, it is equals to 10. Then condition false, then it is coming out of the loop. Let's execute. See, the same things happened here, right? So the same job we can do that in a for loop as well, very easily. So that's why I'm recommended to use a for loop whenever that looping things is required instead of using in a while loop, because that is most dangerous and it is not optimized way to do. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So I'll take this as no question at this moment. So here I'm just going to introduce some other 3 keywords, that is break, continue, and pass. Where and why we are going to use these 3 keywords. Basically, inside of the loop only we are going to use this break, continue, and pass keywords. Okay. So what do you mean by break? So this is actually one of the most interesting and required interview question. What is the difference between these 3 keywords? Break, continue, and pass. See, let's see. The break statement is used to terminate the loop or statement in which it is present. After that, the control will pass to the statement that are present after the break statement if available. Okay. So if you are not able to understand this one, by the example, you can just relate this statement. So then you got to know that. Let's say we have a fruit list that is banana, apple, cherry, and orange. Okay, we have four set of items here. Okay, so I'm just going to write. It's an example for right or not. Yeah, I'll just move this into upward. Yeah. So here you guys can see for I or whatever the variable, just I'm giving that name for value in fruits in this sequence. mm, So I'll just go and execute one by one. For I in fruits list, what happened? If I'm going to print all the values, banana, apple, cherry is printing. Then here I'm just providing a one condition, that is if I is equals to I is equals to, I'm just providing a condition, not banana, I'll give cherry, wrong. So then I'm going to, if this condition is satisfied, then I'm going to break the loop. Okay, this is what my condition in between printing the I statements. Let me execute this line of code. See what's happened here. What's happening here? So this is going to check whether iterating all the values, banana, apple, cherry, and all these things. Here, first banana is coming and then checking the condition. If that I is equals to banana, no. Then it is printing that I. It is not going inside of this if statement. Then what happened? Then apple is coming on the queue. Then where it is checking apple is equals to cherry. No. Then it is not going inside of this loop and printing a cherry as it is. Then cherry is coming. Then it is checking that is that cherry is equals to cherry. Then break the loops and stop the execution of this for loop. Okay. This is what it is doing. That break condition. Right? That's what it is saying. The break statement is used to terminate the loop or statement in which it is present. So if this statement is present, what happened? It is just terminate the loop, and it's close the loop of execution. And the same way, in the same flow, you can just see the difference between the continue as well. In the same thing, I will just copy the entire things and paste it here. Means I'll just replace this break with continue. What is it? Yeah, continue. So here you can see what happened. Banana, apple, orange. So in this case, it is bit different that it is just going to terminate that particular condition. Then if any statements are available, still it is going to execute that. So it means, so it is just stop the printing of this cherry. Okay. Then it is gives the control to the next statement. Means apple is coming, is checking that whether condition is going to true or false. If not, it is just printing that printing condition. If yes, what happens? It will stops that execution, stop that particular iteration, and then continue flows to that next statement. Okay, this is how that differ from break. Continuous differ from break. Okay, so here maybe I just provided the note here for that continue. Continue is also a loop control statement, just like a break statement. Continue statement is opposite to that break statement. Instead of terminating the loop, it forces to execute the next iteration. I told it that it is just gives the control to the next statement instead of just terminating the complete loop. And as the name suggests, the continue statement forces the loop to continue or execute the next iteration, right? This is what the continues do. These are the multiple examples which I have already provided. Um, I'll just pass, maybe, let it be here. Okay, this is what about the continue and break. And we have another keyword. That is pass. What do you mean by pass? Pass, again, as the name indicates, that it's a null operators, null keyword. So whenever the name suggests pass statement, simply does nothing. The pass statement in the Python is used when the statement is required syntactically. Syntactically, in the means, if you want to make your code syntactically, but you don't have any statement in that case. So in that case, you can use this pass statement, but do not want to any command or any code execution. So this is nothing to do anything. So here you can see I told it, right? So if we are going to use any loops or something like that, so inside of that, you should provide some statement. But at this moment, if you don't have any statement, you should complete that loop, right? So then in that time, we can use this pass. So it is the right. So it simply do nothing. But if you make this a syntactically correct script, if you want to write it, so you can just use this pass statement in that case. Okay. So don't think much about this pass keyword. This is simply nothing. So whenever if you wants to do like any loops, or if you really doing any raw sketch or something like that on your script, you can just use this pass statement. Okay, for at this moment. Later on, you can change it. You can replace that pass, like pass keyword, with your whatever the actual statements it is. Okay. Any questions so far on this for loop, while loop, and these three statements? Pass, break, and continue. Clear? Yes, I hope.
Even the continue also will not do anything and will proceed with the next iteration, right? So
Yes.
where does pass come into the picture? Means even the continue is also doing the same thing, right?
Continue is not doing the same thing. What happened here? You can see continue is stop that particular, like if that condition is satisfied, if that exists, take this as yeah, it is a banana. If it is understood, then it is not going to print that. It is not allow you to print that banana here,
Mm.
right? But and it is forced to execute the next statement. So then again, it is one more loop is coming. Then checking the cherry is not equals to keyword for banana. Then it is printing that. It is forcing to execute the next iteration. But in the breaks, what happened? It will stops the complete execution, right? But continue will stops the iteration only that if that statement is passed, then only. But pass is nothing. It is not. It is doing nothing actually. See here, if I is equals to banana, I'm just passing it as a pass. What it is doing? If that condition is satisfied also, then it is not doing anything. It is simply a null operators, you can say. Okay. This will not
Okay.
return any results.
Yeah. So the condition checks are case sensitive, right?
Yeah, definitely. Python is a case sensitive. Okay. Python is not going to understand, yeah, this is space is an unrequired one, and this is a capital or like a smaller case, upper case. No, it doesn't know anything. So it is very case sensitive. So like if you return and name it as cherry in the upper case, and you are going to check the condition in the cherry in the lower case, then it is says that Python says that both are different. Why? Because one is in the upper case and another one is in a lower case. Then it is your responsibility to make the two in the same order, in the same cases. Then you can check it.
Can you tell me the which scenario we are going to use the pass statement, like in real time scenario? What type of scenarios we are using that one?
Not actually in the exact script, let's say, but in for your clients, you are going to give some your coding structure. Okay. At this moment, you are saying that, yeah, I'm just going to create a function like test function. So instead of that, I'm expecting a input from the users, input parameters from the user, and you are just going to give a design on that case. Okay. But here you don't have any statement, you don't know any logics at this statement because that requirements is not clear. So in that case, what you are going to show your clients, So this is the function which I'm going to create, but here I don't have any statements to pass. So I'm just using a pass statement here. I can execute it without any statement as well. So it's just in a null structure. To providing in a null structure for your clients, you can use it, right? And in some other cases, you know that in some of the statements you have to provide if statements. If call is equals to 10 text, okay, then you don't know if that condition is satisfied. What are the things you should, if you guys want, if you wants to do? In that case, for time being, you can place that pass as it is. Okay, anyhow, that code, okay, it is not defined, something like that it is. Okay, in that case, you can use the pass statement. Then afterwards, you can replace this pass keywords with your actual statements, actual logics. Okay, so don't worry much on this pass statement. It's simply just a null keyword. Okay, null operators. So in the Python, we have this three kinds of keywords: continue, break, and pass. And these are the difference between these three. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hope you guys are clear with these things because it's very important one. So in you are going to use these kinds of logic continuously. Okay. This for loop, these things are continuously repeating. So another most important topic is functions. I think you guys are already seen the whenever I'm just bringing the word as function, you've already got the basic structure like how it looks. So it will start with an a def keyword and it is ends with an a parenthesis, right? As a function. So if I'm call it as a function, so that function should be ends with an a parenthesis. So inside of the parenthesis, sometimes it is requires argument, sometimes not. Okay. So let's see what is function. Python functions is the block of statement that returns the specific task. The idea is to put some commonly or repetitively done task together and make a function so that instead of writing the same code again and again for a different inputs, so we can do the function call to reuse the code contained in it over and over again. Okay. So it means if you have any logics, okay, that summing logic, I told it, right? Summing logic, anyhow you have. So in that case, what you have to do? Again and again, you should change the sequence. You should go your code and you need to change it. Or whenever it is, whenever you have a different sequence in your code, you have to copy that entire 4 to 5 lines of code and you need to paste it in your wherever it is needed, right? So in that case, then you can make that as a common logic. You can give that parameter as for your function. Then you can tell that to your user to make that parameter. You can as a logic and you can pass it. So that logic can use as it is. It is actually a dynamic approach, right? So whenever that some logic is required, you can just call that function, feed that your inputs. That's it. Instead of repetitively using the same logic again and again, right? So by this way, what are the benefits for your scripts, right? It will increase the code readability and code reusability, right? So any other developers can easily understand what's going on your script, and you can easily enhance your scripts, right? And reusability in the sense it will requires a very less coding efforts. If you are familiar with creating in a logics as a functions, then you can just easily create it your functions and reuse it whenever it is needed. Okay, so let's see how we can create a functions. So as I told it, right? So Python is also have some built-in functions and all. So how I'm calling that? I'm just using that function name, and I'm providing in a parenthesis. If that arguments is required, it is accepting some inputs. If not, empty functions I can pass, right? So in the same way, we also can create the functions how Python is created in the backend. Okay. Syntax is, see, defined. Def means it is a defined, okay, user defined. And function name, it's up to you, whatever the function's name which you wants to provide, you can provide that as a function name. And input arguments. Um, it's a function name. Okay. Here it's the input arguments, like infinite arguments you can provide it. So how many arguments are required from the user, that also, that all the arguments you can provide it to user, and they can provide it. Okay. Whether it is a, they can say required argument or optional argument, that is up to you, that you have to decide it. Then inside of that, again, you have to provide this column. So then you have to write your logic inside of this function, whatever the logic you can provide it. Then at the end, you can use return or print keyword. If you really want to print any of the statements once you call your function, we can use this print statement. Or if you want to return the results in its memory, you can use return keyword. Okay, this is what the basic structure of the function. Okay, so let's create some of the things. So here it is, statement printing. So hello all, happy Monday. Oh, it's a Monday, correct. Hello all, happy Monday. So if I want to print this string in some other multiple statements, multiple keywords, how we can use it? I can call this statement simply, that is statement printing, that is hello all, happy Monday. So this is going to print the statement. So here you can see, instead of using a return statement, I'm just using a printing. That's why it is printing that. So I will just, so in the next example, I'm just doing in a return. Okay. So I'm just printing that. I'm just adding that. See, this is also printing, but I'm just save this into in one of the keyword as a result. That is res. So I'm executing now with results keyword. So I'm printing it now. See, what happened? So I'll call this function results. Yeah, see here. So I'm just what I said. I just save this. I wanted to save this statement printing results in a res variable, but it is printing that statement. Why? It means I have added a print statement. That's its job. It is doing printing. So if I call this results, so what it is doing? It is returning nothing. So none object. It means so the results is not able to store it in any of the keyword, any of the variable. Why? Because I'm just added a printing statement. So whenever you're calling this your function, it's just printing that statement. So here you can see the difference. So here I'm just returning the statement. So return hello, welcome all. Now I will save this in a res variable again. So printing that, see, it is not going to print anything. Why? Because I just call up this function within a variable name. It means that all the results, this hello, welcome all, this results is getting stored in res keyword. So let me print this one. See, hello, welcome all. This is the difference between the return and print. So as name indicates that print statement is going to print the results, return statement is going to return the results in its memory. Okay. This is how you can create your basic function. Any questions? Okay, I'll take this as no questions. Maybe who's, yeah, no. Okay. Then, so let's go with creating a good function. Okay. Some function, right? So this is input list, that is 2, 5, 7, 9, 10, 46, 18. What is the total sum of these values? That is maybe expected results is 97. So let me execute some Python code, that is sum function. Anyhow, we have a function in Python that is sum. So I'll just pass the sequence. So what is the outcome of our Python script is 97. How we can achieve the same thing in our without using a sum function? How we can create your own function to achieve the same results? So let's do that in this today's class. So let's me write the logic for that sum, but at least for the sum. Okay. So very firstly, if I want to add these values, I need to iterate one by one. Correct. So for that, again, I'm just going to use for loop for I in input list. So I can iterate each and every values, right? So now I want to add this 2 plus 5, that is 7, 7 plus 7 is 14. So in this order, I have to add. So very firstly, I wanted to add results is equals to I plus, I want to add with some values, right? So for that, I am going to give some initial values, that is j is equals to a 0. Okay. Very firstly, what happened? 2 is coming, 2 plus j. J is equals to 0, right? 2 plus j, 2 plus 0 is equals to 2 only. Then in the next iteration, what it should happen? So this j should change with the previous values of that particular iteration. So in the next iteration, what happened? 5 is coming, then j should be changed into the previous value, previous iteration values. Previous iteration value is 2. Then how I can change it? Then after that iteration, j is equals to I, right? Then I'm going to print the results. I think this logic we already discussed earlier. I'm going to print that results. See, 2, 7, like that it is. Like that it is going. At the end, it is going to print the 64, right? Something went wrong. So let me see the J results. Oh, wow, not J. 64, okay. Anything goes wrong? 64 plus 18. Okay, so we'll just debug that. Okay, first what happened? 2 is coming. 2 plus 0 is 2. Okay, then 2 is, this j is incremented with the 2. Then 5 plus 2 is equals to 7. Okay, as a result, it is going to 7. Then 7 plus 5 is equals to 9. Okay, 9 plus 7. Then how it is going to 10? 7 plus 5 is should be 12, right? So something went wrong.
Instead of j, we can take the result above, result equal to 0, starting before for loop.
You mean to say this one?
Yeah, result equal to 0. Here, result equal to result plus I. Result equal to res plus I.
That also, yeah. So you can directly use this as it is.
Plus equal to I. So now print result.
Come on. Is that the correct one?
Yeah, 97 is correct.
97 is the correct one. So now, so if my inputs gets changed, so okay, so if this keyword is gets changed, so then how we need to use it? Do I need to copy this entire logic and paste it into wherever it is needed? No. So then what we have to do? So then we will accept this input list as a parameter from the function. Okay. So user can provide this input list with any of the name as a input. Then accordingly our logic should work, right? So how I can create it? So I will call this, I will push this entire logic inside into that list diff and test some. This is what I can say. This is your function name. Whatever the name, if you want, you can provide it. Okay. Then here I'm just accepting an input from the user, that is input list. As a parameter name it is. Okay. So here whatever the input list, sometime that your input name is different as list vals something it is. Okay. So it's just a name of your input values. So based on by calling that input values, I'm just going to do my logic. So colon, and I'll simply push all this logic inside into this list. Now I'm going to return the results. Instead of printing that, I'm just going to return the results because it's just printing that. So we can't save that into any of the variable. So return results. That's it. So I'm just executing this line of code. Now it's time to test that. So let me call that test sum. Then here I'm going to provide the list of the values, whatever the values which you guys want to create, you can give that. See, 3, 6, 10, 15. The sum function is also doing the same thing, right? It means in the backend, Python also return the same kind of code. See, the 15. So by understanding the basic logics of Python, so we also can create our own function with our own logics. Okay. So this is how it works. So any questions so far? Okay. So then how you can convert your function into one util for your when I'm bringing a word like a libraries, right? So in that library section, I told it we have 3 set of libraries. One is base libraries, another one is third-party libraries, and next 4th one is local inputs. So when it comes to the local inputs, if you have any specific logic for your project, then what you should do, what you can do. So you can create your own function for that. Okay, calculate some. Okay, let's say this calculate function, this logic is only needed for my project. We don't have any libraries on the market. Then what I'm going to do, so I'm just creating my function and passing my logic here. Along with that, I'm just providing in a doc string in the triple quotes. Okay. So what it will do, so this is a beginner guide for a user. So if I press a shift tab over here inside of this function, this is going to give some text, right? To understand what this function is going to do. The same thing, this is possible because this sum function is also written some doc string on inside of that. So that's why this text is printing it over here. So if you really want to give the same kinds of code, same kinds of guidance for your user, you can just provide this doc string. Okay. So it's a first line is a short description of your function and what are the parameters and what is the meaning of your parameter, what is the expected values and what is the expected type, that is list by default, what it is by default. So if you are provided any default values into your function, this means this is a optional argument. So then your function can also work without providing an input as well. Why means by default it is taking in a 1 1 1 1 1. As a by default it is going to print a 4 as it is. if you are not provided any inputs. Okay, so this is again a magic command, that is percentage file, and it is your file name .py. So it means if you are provided this command on top of function name, then this is going to save as a Python files. This cell is getting converted into Python files. Let me execute this line of code. See, writing util.py. So you can go back to your working directory and you can just see. I'll just make it as last modified. Somewhere here, yeah, util.py file. If I open that code, see here, the function, okay, calculate sum, this function. So then how you can import it into your working directory. So it is not yet packaged it, but your notebook and util, these two files are same in the same directory. So in that case, you can directly import it. Okay, how we are going to import it? From your file name. What is the file name? That is util import. What is your function name there? It is calculate sum. Yeah, calculate sum. I can import it. So now I can use calculate sum and input list. See, 97. This is how you can convert your function into your reusable util, and when you can import it instead of having these logics into your script, you can save it into any different files within a to make it as a well organized code, and you can import it whenever it is needed into your script, and you can reuse that. This is the local imports. See here, if I provided these kinds of docstring, right, I can easily understand by pressing a shift tab inside of this function. See, this function returns sum of given values. The list of input expected is list, and default values are 1 1 1 1, and these are the parameters, and it is going to return sum of all the values and list of all the values. This is what I have provided as a docstring, right? So if you are written a good docstring, user can easily understand. They can start using that. Okay, by pressing a shift tab. Clear?
So functions are also reusable, right? So what is the difference between using as a function and as a functions are also reusable, right?
Yeah, function is reusable. So the same functions I'm just converted into a util. Okay. So think about in your project, you are doing some pipeline building, some model development. Okay. So in that case, instead of having this core logic in your project, how about if you place this logic into any of the files and importing into your local, then you can use it, right? So whenever any logic changes is needed, user is not going to open your project. Is just opening that logic and doing the changes. The same changes will be replicated into your project.
Okay, so
Right?
you mean like across the projects you can use if you can make this uh, as an library. You
Yes.
mean that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So like think about, you are using this function nearly 10 to 15 times in your project. So in some of the other day, so somebody says that this logic is wrong as per that business requirement. We need to tweak some of the things. So if you want to take this as some -1, something like that. If you want to tweak it within a bit changes, then imagine like if you are using this core logic in 15 times, you have to change it for 15 times, right? In your project. But if you make a practice of these things like utils and creating utils and all, like if you make the changes in your util file itself, then you don't need to change that into 15 times. So it is going to change automatically in everywhere. Correct?
Yeah.
So it means it will increase the code readability and maintainability, and enhancement can happen easily. Any changes, anything we can do very easily. So be sure that in our projects, whenever you are going to do any big projects kind of things, so make practice of these things. Okay. And be sure like having a docstring, parameters, returning statement, everything should be clear, like Python hinting, and like if it is needed, if it is required to pass a default argument, you can pass it, otherwise you don't pass it. If you are not passed any required argument, then this will mandatorily ask to provide an input. If you have provided any default argument, so then it will not ask any argument mandatorily. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, then anyhow, you guys have this notebook. Just make a practice of creating a function. And yeah, first you guys can practice for loop and continue break statements. And then you can just come to creation of functions and try to create some standard utils in your own with your whatever the logics. Okay, so in your surrounding, you might get hundreds of logics. Okay, just try to convert that as a function and try to use it in this way. Okay, then you will be become familiar with these kinds of approaches. Okay, anyhow, tomorrow again we are colliding that. So if you guys have any question on that time, we can discuss. Okay. Yeah. Okay, just make a practice. Don't get confused. First, you can practice it. Then if you get any questions, then please feel free to ask it in next class. Okay, so I will take a pause now. Then, yeah, happy
So
learning.
Vikrant, is every day the class will be at 8:45 or just today only it was at 8:45?
Yeah, actually it's today, maybe tomorrow as well, because actually for next 3 days I have some busy schedule, like after 9:30 or 9:30 and 10 I should go somewhere actually. So that's why I'm just prepone it for 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, just make it sure, give us a, make it, maybe let us know at least a day before or in the evening, because I was outside, I just joined at 9 o'clock. So
Yeah,
I didn't
yesterday
know
only I pinged on the chat actually. I don't know whether you are following the chat or not. Yesterday only I pinged on the Telegram.
Okay, I thought it was today morning. I thought it is there.
Today morning admin is reminded that.
Okay.
Yeah. So in yesterday evening, maybe yesterday evening or afternoon, I pinged in the
Acha,
chat.
night 9 o'clock here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe tomorrow also we are following the same time. You can just join the same time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.